Good morning, students. Today I am going to start with third chapter of civics, that is features of the Constitution. In the last two lessons, we studied how our Constitution was made. We studied its preamble and understood terms like sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. The goals expressed in the preamble are the characteristic features of our Constitution as well. Apart from these, the Constitution also has other features. We shall try to understand these features in the present chapter. That is, features of the Constitution. Now, federalism. Now, federalism is a mixed or compound mode of government that combines a general government, the central or federal government, with regional governments, provincial, state, cantonal, territorial, or other sub-unit governments. In a single political system, its distinctive features exemplified in the Constitution of the United States is a relationship of parity between the two levels of government established. Federalism is thus a form of government in which powers are divided between two levels of government of equal status. Now, federalism differs from confederalism, in which the general level of government is subordinate to the regional level, and from devolution with a unitary state, in which the regional level of government is subordinate to the general level. Federalism represents the central form in the pathway of regional integration or separation. Federalism represent the central form in the pathway of regional integration or separation, bounded on less integrated side by confederalism. Now, examples of the federation for federal state include United States, India, Brazil, Mexico, Russia, Germany, Canada, Switzerland, Argentina, Nigeria, and Australia. The term federalism have a root in Latin and word foedus, meaning treaty, pact, or covenant. Their common meaning until the late 18th century was a simple league or intergovernmental relationship among sovereign states based upon a treaty. They therefore initially synonyms. It was in this sense that James Madison in Federalist 39 had referred to the new US Constitution as neither a national nor a federal constitution. A single large unitary state nor a league confederation among several small states. Now these are some of the interpretations. Modern federalism is a system based upon democratic rules and institutions in which the power to govern is shared between national and provincial state governments. Now see, India is a big huge country with different language, different culture, different taste, diverse country, and there are altogether 29 states and number of union territories. So one government like central government will not be able to handle entire country, and as a result in our country this system has been created, federal system, government at two level, One that is central government and other that is state governments. The term federalist describes several political beliefs around the world depending on context. Federalism is sometimes viewed as in the context of international negotiation as the best system for integrating diverse nations, ethnic groups, or combatant parties, all of whom may have cause to fear control by an overly powerful center. However, in some countries, those skeptical of federal prescriptions believe that increased regional autonomy is likely to lead to secession or dissolution of the nation. So, these are some of the interpretations. Don't want to go into detail. Let us go to the topic straight away. One of the important features of our constitution is federal system. In countries with large territories and huge population, for example, our country, 130 crore population with 29 states, number of union territories, people speaking different language, different culture, people belong to different religion. It is one of those countries of the world where you will find almost all the religions existing. Hinduism, Islam, these are the two main religions of India. Along with that, Christians, Jews, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh. These are the major religions. They all exist in our country, and this is where this federal system is very important. Government is run by a federal system. Ruling a large territory from a single capital city is not only difficult but may also lead to the neglect of some far-flung areas. If you correlate with history, Mughals were very strong and powerful with Delhi as that capital. And when they started, expanding their empire, and when Marathas fought against them, Aurangzeb had to, move to Deccan. And for 25 long years he was engaged fighting Marathas. And the outcome of this conflict with Marathas was that, he was unable to control Delhi, which was the capital. And that was one of the reasons of the downfall of Mughal empire. This is where, federal or dual system is very important. People residing there cannot participate in the affairs of the government. Therefore, government functions at two levels in a federation. The government at the center carries out tasks like defense of entire country, foreign policy, establishing peace, etc. It is also called union government or federal government. It carries out the administration of the entire country. That is, Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is the leader of the country. The government that oversees the administration of the region that we live in is called state government. It looks after the administration of particular state. For example, government of Maharashtra looks after the administration of the state of Maharashtra. Who is Chief Minister of Maharashtra? Honorable Shri Uddhav Thackeray. So, each state has their own government. The party which gets majority from that party leader is selected and he is appointed as the chief minister. So every state will have different chief minister, but prime minister of the country will be one. The system of running the administration of a country cooperatively by the government at two levels, making laws about different subjects, is called federalism. Separation of powers. The Constitution has divided the subjects for making laws between the union government and the state government. Things which central government or union government will take decisions, and things which state government will take decision. Let us see which government is entrusted with what subjects. Our constitution has given three lists of various subjects. The first list is called Union List. It contains 97 subjects on which union government makes laws. State government cannot make laws on that. The state list is for state governments to legislate to make laws upon. It contains 66 subjects. Subjects means 66 things. Apart from these two lists, there is a concurrent list which contains 47 subjects, that is both governments, that is union government and state government, can make laws on subjects included in this list. If a subject comes up that is not included in any one of the list, the union government is entitled to make laws on it. These powers are termed as residuary powers. Now, union list, a little more about that. The union list or list 1 is a list of 98 numbered items after 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016. Entry 92 and 92C removed. The last item is numbered 97, given in the 7th schedule in the Constitution of India, on which Parliament has exclusive powers to legislate, to make laws. The legislative section is divided into three lists. I have already explained the union list, state list and concurrent list. Unlike the federal governments of United States, Switzerland or Australia, the residual powers remain with the union government as with the Canadian federal government. I mean, these are the comparisons which I am giving you. Don't get yourself confused. There are 97 items on the list, of which one is no longer in force. Some of them I will brief. Defense of India and every part thereof, including preparation for defense and all such acts as may be conducive in times of war to its prosecution and after its termination to effective demobilization. Second, naval, military and air force, any other armed forces of the Union. Deployment of any armed forces of the Union or any other force subject to the control of the Union government. So, atomic energy, mineral resources necessary for its production, industries declared by Parliament by law to be necessary for the purpose of defense or for the prosecution of war, Central Bureau of Intelligence and Investigation, preventive detention for reasons connected with defense, foreign affairs or the security of India, persons subjected to such detention, foreign affairs, all matters which bring the Union into relations with any foreign country, diplomatic, consular and trade representation, United Nations Organization, participation in international conferences, war and peace, foreign jurisdictions, citizenship, neutralization, extradition, admission into an immigration and expulsion from India, passports and visas, railways, highways, shipping, navigation, inland waterways, declared by Parliament by law to be national waterways, as regarded mechanically propelled vessels, the rule of the road on such waterways, maritime shipping. See, the list is very long. So these are the things which come in first list, that is, union list. Now, the division of powers in the Indian Constitution is unique. It enables the union government and the state government to bring about country's progress by cooperating with each other. This also encourages participation of citizens in the administration of the country. Who deals with what subjects? Subjects with the union government. I've already explained in detail. Defense, foreign relations, war and peace, currency, international trade. Subjects with the state government, agriculture, law and order, local government, health, prison administration. The state list or list 2 is a list of 59 items. After the 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016, entry number 52 and 55 deleted. Initially there were 66 items in the list in Schedule 7 to the Constitution of India. The legislative section is divided into 3 lists: union list, state list and concurrent list, unlike the federal governments of other countries. If any provision of a law made by legislature of a state is repugnant to any provision of law made by parliament which parliament is competent to enact, or to any provisions of an existing law with respect to one of the matters enumerated in the concurrent list, then the law made by parliament, whether passed before or after the law made by the legislature of such state, or as the case may be, the existing law shall prevail, and the law made by legislature of the state shall, to the extent of their repugnancy, be avoided. Now, items in this list are public order, naval, military or air force or any other armed forces of union or any other forces subject to control of union or of any contingent or unit thereof in aid of civil power. Police, including railway and village police, subject to provisions of entry second A of list 1. Officers and servants of High Court, Supreme Court, prisons, municipal corporation, improvement trust, mining, local self-government, that is local self-government bodies, Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, Jila Parishad, Municipal Council, Municipal Corporation. These local self-government bodies come under state list. Public health, sanitation, hospitals and dispensaries, pilgrimage other than pilgrimage to places outside India, intoxicant liquors, relief for disabled and unemployed people, burials and burial grounds, cremation, libraries, museums, ferries, roadways, inland waterways, agriculture, irrigation, land tenure, fisheries, all these gas work, trade and commerce, markets, fairs, universities, theatres, amusement. The list is long enough, but all this come under the second list, that is state list. Subjects with both the government, that is employment, environment, economic and social planning, personal law, education. These are the things on which both the governments can take decision, that is union government as well as state government. Why? Because employment is responsibility of both the government. To check environmental problems and economic problems, both the governments are responsible. Social planning, both the governments are responsible. Personal law and security, both the governments are responsible. And education, both the governments are responsible, because these are the things which will benefit the entire population and in general will lead to the development and progress of the country. and accordingly constitution has put all these important subjects in both the list, that is union list and state list, both these subjects in concurrent list, where both the governments, both the union and state government can take decision. Now union territories, in India there is a union government, 29 state governments and 7 union territories. The union government controls the union territories. Following are the 7 union territories: New Delhi, Daman and Diu, Puducherry, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Andaman and Nicobar Island and Lakshadweep. Parliamentary system of government. This part will continue in the next period. Please go through the chapter. It will help you understanding the chapter. Any difficulty, please do clarify it. Thank you. Take care and please start studying. Complete your homework which I am giving you and as PDF. That is also very important for all of you. Thank you. Take care.